Hello one and all, and welcome back to Let's Play No Man's Sky with me, EkkiThump. Word of warning, I'm recording this episode's narration as a post-commentary because, once again, as happened in a previous Empyrean episode, my microphone failed to pick up my voice when I was recording. Don't know why it happens, but it keeps on happening. So, last time around, we managed to successfully get ourselves this fantastic new Gotasuku S34 to replace the crappy old Rasamama. Wasn't the one we were going for, but it's the one we found. Had to pay for it, sadly. But this time around, this episode, we're going to finish exploring the rest of this starter system. We're going to see what else we can turn up. And I am just looking through the control menu here, because I really do want to try and play this game with mouse and keyboard. There's just enough FPS in it that it feels really awkward to play it with the controller sometimes. It's just one of those games that's neither this nor that. The shooting elements, I want to use mouse and keyboard. The flight and the interaction and the mining and everything, that's alright actually, just with the controller. But now and then you are going to see me going into the control menu, because this is the first time playing with mouse and keyboard. We're going to start off with an exploration of some of the waypoints on Bullion Moon, which is, you may remember from last episode, it's the moon of Ekki's Landing, the planet we started on. We named it Bullion Moon obviously because it's got a lot of gold laying around there, and it is going to be a feature of this system that we do turn up a lot of gold, but it's not particularly resource gathering we're interested in for this episode. We are going to be looking around and more exploring than grinding this episode, although there is a bit of that. But let's see what we can find on the surface of Bullion Moon. And when I say exploring, I'm looking specifically at waypoints. To be honest, I'm not all that interested in scanning all the different kinds of animals. Although it is nice if you come across them, but I'm not going for 100% completion. And that's what you need to do to get the completion. You need to scan animals. So we've arrived on Bullion Moon, and first thing that's happened, we've actually received a comm signal from an outpost. So we're going to go over there, we're going to see what it's going to give us. And actually it turns out to be quite useful. And you can see there's a fair bit on the surface as I'm flying past. Just flew past, it's either a monolith or a plaque there. It's worth taking it a little bit slowly as you're flying over the planet's surface and just keeping an eye out. But here we are at the outpost. It's got a landing pad, so we're going to go in for another MLG landing. There we go. Nailed it. So the first thing we're going to do is have a look around at everything. We still need the Atlas Pass. The Atlas Pass, did a little bit of reading around, trying not to spoil myself too much, but I just wondered how you got one. Apparently you don't get one in the starting system. You don't get an Atlas Pass until after you've made your first hyper jump. That kind of triggers the event that sends you to the person who tells you how to make Atlas Passes or something along those lines. So we're going to trigger this waypoint beacon. I thought, when I first looked at the UI for this game, I thought, okay, each planet has 6 waypoints on. Obviously that's not actually the case. So if you are one of the people who's conscientiously going through the game, renaming and uploading everything they find, and that's what you're playing for, you have got to remember that you see there at the top of the screen, we've discovered 2 waypoints. If we discovered 7 waypoints on this planet, the first one just scrolls off the right. As far as I can tell, there's no way to get it back. So if you are trying to upload all of your discoveries, you do bear in mind that you've got a kind of limited number of discoveries that you can go through before you have to start either uploading them or losing them. I don't know if you actually lose them off the atlas. Well, the game will remember that you've discovered it, but you won't be able to upload it, which kind of raises an interesting point. I'll come back to in a moment. As we come in here and speak to this chap, Brigadier EkkiThump. So he babbles away at us in Viking. The being snarls at me when I enter, but I barely have a chance to cower before it looks embarrassed and puts up its hands apologetically. This warrior seems on edge, but was clearly expecting me. As before, it relays a message to me, once again sent by whoever Nader and Polo are. The staccato missive is accompanied by a donation of antimatter from my mysterious benefactors, enough of it that I can build a warp cell for my hyperdrive. So these Nader and Polo characters, I assume they're the ones who sent me the message on how to build the hyperdrive in the first place, and they've just given me a free bit of antimatter. So it says that I strongly suspect I must choose between finding Nader and Polo or following Atlas. There's a steady return 16 there, which I'm not going to bother with. Multi-tool's big enough for now, I've got loads of unused slots. So we're going to sell some crap out of my inventory. So what was I saying? Yeah, so if someone discovers something but never uploads it, does it then reset and become free for someone else to discover and rename? Or, you know, is it always just, it's stuck with its default name, no one gets the credits for it? I'm not sure about that. Kind of hard to test, really. So I think I sold some platinum there, because I'm not sure what I need it for. And it's not that hard to come across. Anyway, we've got the mats for building a warp cell. We're not going to use it this episode, but I think we are going to craft it later on and use it to fuel the hyperdrive, just to save up a bit of inventory space. There's a bit of multi-tool tech. Grenade propulsion. It says makes grenades travel at high velocity. I'm not sure if that increases. You can see there we actually need some platinum for that, but we also need chrysonite. I'm not sure if that means just that the grenade moves faster, or that it also hits harder, or something like that. Who knows? So anyway, I'll put in a cut here, because we're just going to hop back in the Gotosoku and go and find something else to play with. Let's see. And actually, just before takeoff, here's a quick shot of me actually crafting the warp cell, I think. I noticed that there's electron vapor in our product crafting menu. I assume that's something to do with making antimatter. But there we go, we've made the warp cell. It takes that bit of antimatter that we received, plus a bit of thaumium, which we have shitloads of. It's all over the place. And now I think we are ready to get airborne. Possibly. Maybe. I might have just been sitting there talking about something. Yeah, we're airborne. There we go. Now then, here I am coming down. Oh, I remember this bit, yeah. I'm going to park up next to these big titanium containers. I'm going to trigger the waypoint over here. I'm not sure what these are supposed to be. What was I doing here? I was trying to install something. Oh, oh no. What I was trying to do here was trying to mark some of the multi-tool text that I can't actually build. I heard there was a way to tag one of them, so that it would give you a kind of quest to find the materials for that item. But I've been going through pressing a few different buttons and I can't seem to do it. The only option it gives me at the bottom of the screen there is to build the item, which I can't do because I don't have the stuff on me. So I mean, I'm going to be looking around here for a little while, but I never did figure it out. I know it's a thing on It's a thing on PS4. I've read that. Whether you can do the same on PC, and I don't know why they wouldn't port that over. But I mean, maybe you have to wait to a later stage in the the main quest chain or something like that. Who knows? But yeah, see, things like nickel and iridium. I don't even know what iridium looks like. Nickel we have had a little bit of. But anyway, so we're just going to spend a little bit of time here blasting up these containers. Oh no, not, we're going to trigger the waypoint first. And then we're going to blast up these, whatever they are, these titanium tanks. There we go. And we're going to get a fair bit of titanium from here. I'm not sure what we need it for. But I guess it's a useful oxide. And each container we blast is going to trigger attacks from the sentinels. Although we only get 2 sentinels on the first attack. The next time we blow up a container we only get 1 sentinel. So there he goes, and we're going to grab some of the loot from it. Bit of tech and a neutrino module. Neutrino modules are alright, they sell for about 15 grand each. I'm just seeing if there's anything in the middle of these, but apparently not. So again we're going to take down a green container. And that's going to send in a sentinel after us. And there he goes. And his barrel, yeah, I remember this bit, his barrel is going to roll away down the hill. It's going to take us, it actually takes the barrel so long to come to a stop. But, oh no, I did loot it there. I just seen there I looted it, I didn't even notice. I was trying to press E as it rolled, and apparently that works. Well, there you go. I got more loot than I thought in this episode. And yeah, I definitely do find it a lot easier to shoot accurately with the mouse and keyboard setup. And it's not too difficult to fly or move around or anything. So we're going to blast that guy. Grab his loot. I can't remember what I was doing here. Recharging the bolt caster.
Technology recharge. Warning. Sentinel drone activated.
That's another tank down. The sentinel down. More loot. Again, we've run out of inventory space. I think at this point I notice, you know, holy crap, I've got a whole stack of titanium. What do I even need it for? So I'm just going to grab that neutrino module. And I don't think I'm going to bother with the last tank. No. We are going to grab some carbon apparently. But yeah, at this point I'm just going to hop back into the Gotosoku and we're going to move on to the next discovery. I'm surprised to see that actually, it destroyed 20 sentinels. I didn't think I'd even been doing that much combat. Apparently I have. And here's our next point of interest. I think this one was an observatory. Doesn't have a landing pad sadly. There we go. Let's trigger that. I think it actually tells you, once you've discovered it, it actually tells you what they are if you point yourself at the waypoint beacon. And you'll notice the temperature has dropped to minus 50 degrees. And for those of you who use Fahrenheit, that is bloody extremely cold. And here I am going through the control menu trying to figure out how to use the analysis visor on a mouse and keyboard setup. Turns out it was F, I think, and right click to zoom. So I'm going to try and scan some of these guys. I wish the visor had longer range. There we go. Scan that guy. So we're going to get ourselves inside and see what this place is about.
Temperature levels stabilizing.
Say hello to Guard Zongs.
No free slots in
I'm
ship.
just going to send a little bit of stuff back to the ship so that we can speak to the guy.
In ship inventory.
And he says blah blah blah. The warrior seems furious with itself. It slams its multi-tool onto a nearby surface and pulls the trigger again and again, but nothing happens. All weapon systems look functional, but their end result is nothing more than a hollow and empty click. The life form howls in self-loathing. So we can comfort him, we can give him some carbon, or we can give him some thaumium. And I think I'm just going to give him some carbon. So what's happened here is his multi-tool has run out of ammunition, basically. So we've given him some carbon to recharge it. He's given us about $1.5 and a reputation boost with the Viking, which I don't think we needed because we're already at a special relationship. Impact damage, Sigma. That's one I want, but again it takes iridium. So we're going to have to keep an eye out for some of that. If we come across a planet with some iridium veins on it, we're going to absolutely mine the crap out of them. We've got so many things that we want to do that use iridium at this point. So I'm just going to nick some plants. And get a achievement. Love achievements. I'm going to go and do this super complicated code. Judging by the imposing size and weapons shown on the identification ID image that glares at me as I boot up the system, the station's overseer must have originated from a warrior race. The life form probably left long before the arrival of the beacon that now winks tantalizingly next to it. If I can enter the correct code, perhaps I can learn its secrets. So this is that code that just everything just shifts one place to the left. It seems to be the most common kind of puzzle to solve. Well, there we are, we've done that. Simple enough. And that's given us a waypoint to I think to a ruin. I did come across a Viking monolith in this episode, but I think that is just pointing me to a ruin. Unidentified wavelength, I think so. So I think we're done in here, and let's put in a cut to the next waypoint. And here we are. We've come directly to the ruin that was pointed out to us. So we're going to park up on the hill here. That's a health restorative, we don't need that. Grab some knowledge stones, gas. and high. And we can trigger the plaque, I think. We might have gone for a look around first. There we go. And it says, "It came to pass that the great monolith awoke. It heard the challenge of Herc. 5 times Herc called upon it and was met by silence. On the 6th cry, it awoke." There we go. So we seek help with language. And we got the Viking word for intruder. And we'll just have a nosy round up here. I don't think I've found anything else. But yeah, I do like having a little look around these environments. Oh yeah, there's another knowledge stone. We've got death. We've got high gas intruder death. And that takes us to another language milestone, I think. Yeah, misunderstood, 20 words. So that was a short and sweet trip to the ruin. And that's pretty much all there was to it, so let's jump to the next one. So you're about to see here, I'm going to trigger a journey milestone, I think, for enabling galactic travel. That's because I put the warp cell into the hyperdrive. So we've come to this little question mark here, and it's just more of these titanium containers. So there's not much to do here really. We're just going to trigger it, have a run around the loot chests and then move on, I think. Shielding shard, fascination bead. Actually, it might have been at this point that I decided the next thing we were actually going to do was go back to the space station. Because we had an absolute ton of fascination beads, neutrino modules, shielding shards. Health restorative. I think I ended up junking all the shards and all but one of the shielding plates. Shielding shards are the kind of thing that I would hang on to if we had a way to store items anywhere, but because it's only either in your suit or in your ship, they don't seem worth it. They recharge your hazard protection, but the solution to that is just not to go very far away from your ship, and if that's the case then you don't actually need them. Yeah, I'm just going to collect another shard there. I'm just going to straight up junk those. And I found a magmox. Now I presume that's used in crafting something, because it's not marked as a trade good, but I've never seen anything that uses it. There are some stuff, I can't remember what they're called, like omegons and all that kind of thing, that are like advanced crafting materials, but the magmox, who knows. So I think I ended up just flogging it. But yeah, that's a bit of loot and that was it for that waypoint, so let's skip to the next one. Yeah, here we go, en route to the space station. That was quite good, I enjoyed that. So I dropped out a warp right next to the space station, and because I was still moving at like pulse drive speed, just slammed straight into it. Just started spinning around like a top, trying to figure out where the hell I was even wanting to point the ship. So one thing that I did kind of notice here is that the game doesn't have strafing movement. You can go forward, back, and you can turn, you can pitch and yaw, but you can't actually move side to side. Because what I'd normally be doing in this situation is keeping the nose of the ship aimed at the space station and sort of strafing around it, edging around it, keeping the station in view. I don't know, that feels like something that could be added to the game. Well, that's something I would like to have in the game, but sadly not. So here's our friend Omnigzorb, or whatever his name is. Remember him? He's the one that we cancelled to get married to the virile Viking in the photo. So I'm just going to start all the crap that I got from Bully and Moon there. And we actually made quite a bit. I was quite pleased with this. I'm going to flog that Magmox, just because I don't know what it's for. And one thing I've definitely noticed in this game is that hoarding really doesn't pay off. You need to find specific stuff once you know that you need it. And apart from a few basics like fuel for the launch thrusters, thaumium for the pulse drive, oxides for the shields, and something to refuel the hazard protection unit, and obviously some carbon. Those are the basics that you always want to have a supply of. A lot of the rest of it, even something like iron, you can honestly do without. And at least at this point in the game, it really does seem to be a good idea to keep those slots free for just for general looting purposes. Because nothing we had there, like neutrino modules, we can always kill more sentinels if we need them. Iron, I mean iron's all over the place. Thorium we can get from asteroids, carbon from plants, plutonium's all over the goddamn place, titanium's all over the place. Zinc isn't that hard to find. To be honest, we could probably sell most of that and just keep a bit of plutonium. But yeah, generally it seems to be the case that you can just buy stuff and just flog it until you know that you're saving up for something in particular. So here we are, coming on to our next exploration target, the third of the 4 planets on the system, Riho-Wakwanank or something like that. May have just been enjoying the ground phasing in there. Something that does honestly need a little bit of work. So we've got no particular reason to be here apart from exploring. So we're just going to keep an eye out for question marks like that one. Again, we're just going to cruise over the surface at a fairly low speed. This planet, I believe, had quite a lot of gold and copper, but nothing we couldn't get already somewhere else. I don't think I ended up spending too long here. But here's our first waypoint. So it's a scorched planet, smouldering weather, which obviously means the hazard here is that the temperature is really high. Although actually it turns out not too bad during the night. It's during the daytime that it gets really hot. It gets up to about 50 degrees. It's got titanium crystals. We don't really care about titanium. Just have a little bit of explore around. I was actually wondering where all the plutonium was on this planet. It turns out that our first landing was just in a spot that happened to not have many plutonium crystals around. There are crystals of it available. There's our first discovery on this planet. And the computer whinging at me because my life support system is at 75%. So we're going to try and fill up all our newly emptied inventory space. There's some more of that gra gas. this planet was overall a bit blah. No. It was like, to be honest, I think I preferred Ekki's Landing. Because although you had the constant tox hazard, on Ekki's Landing you had emerald, which is more valuable than gold apparently. So if I was going to be bothering to farm for credits, I think I would have just stayed on Ekki's Landing and just repeatedly shipped emerald from and to the space station. Which is a viable strategy actually, because you quite often see like neutral pilots coming into the space station with their ships. And if you're just ferrying valuable ores to and from the space station, not only are you building up your credit balance, but you're also like increasing your chances of running across a valuable ship to buy. That's one way of doing it. Obviously we didn't do that. We're just going to kind of bounce around, gradually acquire credits, and at some point upgrade the ship. So I think I scanned that rock and then I decided I couldn't be bothered anymore. So stuck my head in this little trailer here. And what was this tech? Recoil stabilizer. Needs crystalite, and crystalite seems really rare. Certainly I've not found any yet. Recoil stabilizer sounds alright, but I haven't had much of a problem with recoil. It's not like the bolt caster just bounces around all over the place. I was just checking. Yeah, just checking what that was actually. Because I've been assuming that those blue columns are all iridium. But, I mean, I don't know, it could have been a column of crystalite for all I knew. But it wasn't. It was actually iridium. So, having sold all my iron at the last space station, I realised I needed a bit more to craft a bypass chip for this whatever they're called, this signal transmitter, scanner, receiver, something. So I'm just going to go and grab a bit from here. So I was thinking, this has taken a long time to mine. That's right, 269 from one node, holy crap. So I think I had to send something back to the ship. Here we go. With that done, I can make myself a bypass chip. And I think I decided on transmission. Yeah, and that points us towards an observatory. So that is going to be our next target on this planet. And here I am dive bombing the observatory. The reason I'm coming in from this angle is that I stopped off to mine a pillar of gold nearby, and when I took off again it launched me into orbit in the way that it did last episode. Not too much of a bug actually. Well, it is a bug, but it's not that much of a problem, since it doesn't cost any resources to get back into the atmosphere. And before we go into that observatory, we're going to go and have a look at what I think is the first genuine giant animal we've actually seen in this playthrough. Quite an impressive beast. This Myecteria gihalacia, of an indeterminate age and an asymmetric gender. Your guess is as good as mine what that means. There's herds of them. Thankfully it's herbivorous. Don't fancy taking one on in combat. So after that brief diversion, we're going to go and have a look what's in the trigger in the waypoint. Very important. Get our claim onto the galactic computer. And scav a few chests. I know it was plutonium or something. I can't say fairer than that. 28 plutonium.
Inventory full. Ground protection falling.
We've got a bit of space in the ship now,
No free slots.
which means we can make a bit of space in our suit. And immediately fill it with fucking shielding shards. And you see here the temperature now climbing to a balmy 53 degrees. And here we are. I told you there was some plutonium on this planet. So what happened in this one? I think we actually managed to piss this guy off. If this is the one I'm thinking of. Enemy Slayer Kakamb. And he says blah blah blah, interloper. The life form clicks its heels together in an authoritarian fashion before plunging a syringe dripping with corrosive green liquid into my arm. Holographic images of two alien races appear in my visor, a small reptilian figure, and a taller life form in a metal casing. The warrior snarls at me, and its fingers hover over the injector, which can surely cause damage to life, limb, or equipment. It begins its interrogation. And I think here, what we did was pull rank. Because we have a special relationship with the Viking. We basically said, look, you, piss off, we're busy. And that seemed to work. Eventually. There we go. Pull rank. The warrior apologizes profusely for its transgression, showers me with gifts, and begs forgiveness. So he gave us an upgrade for our starship shield. And he gave us some money. 1,700 credits. Not bad. So we haven't, in this playthrough, we haven't met the other life forms yet. But I think he was referring to, he wanted information about the Gek and the Korvax, I think they're called, the robot life forms. Images that show that this observatory was once a war zone. Mangled metal, scorched walls, and the heavily decayed corpses of a dozen hulking life forms betray a brutal firefight. Now repaired, whatever transpired, it must have happened before the beacon that flashes on screen arrived. Perhaps, if I enter the correct code, I can decipher it. So this is another one of those one place to the left encryptions. No trouble for us at all. And I think it's going to give us a waypoint to a ruin. Yeah, there we go. Signal detected, and it's a ruin. And I think we're pretty much done with this place. So let's jump to the next one. Now this is a very nice waypoint to stumble across. This here, which you can see on the left hand side of the screen, is a drop pod. And these always contain something rather nice. If we just stick my head in there. This is an upgrade for the exosuit, and what it's going to do is give us an extra inventory slot. Nice. So that gives us more space to store our junk, and that is more useful than a lot of random treasure we could find. That's basically it, it's just that, but quite a valuable waypoint to stumble across indeed. And here we are, finally drawing up on the ruin that that observatory was trying to lead us towards. So I'm just going to park, as it turns out, on the top of a mountain. And let's just work our way down there, grab the knowledge stones. Take a bit of falling damage like a noob. So we're going to get the word for language. I'm going to try and scan these birds, but they're bloody pain in the backside. I think you have to shoot one down and scan its corpse if you want to get those. It's very difficult to get close enough to actually scan them. Learn the word for suit, was that? I think so. And what does this one say? The great monolith spoke to Herc of the travellers. Their coming should not be met with fire. Their coming was but one dream in an infinite universe. Their reach would be that of the endless. When Herc asked of the sentinels, the great monolith said nothing. Herc was troubled by its silence. And the word it's going to give us is malfunctions. And there you have it. That's the ruin that we were sent to explore. I'm not sure where we're going next. Possibly to the other planet in the system. But let's skip ahead anyway. Yeah, here we go. We are heading towards Iwada, which is pretty much the same as Rika Waka Waka, honestly. It's another planet that has quite a lot of gold and copper and thermal hazard. Even has similar sorts of little blue lakes. But we're going to go here and explore a couple of things just to say we have done. There's our first target. So yeah, by this point, I think I was pretty much decided that I did prefer using the mouse and keyboard. Although, obviously, being a PS4 game that was ported to PC, it was designed for controller. There is enough of, as I was saying, enough of the FPS element in there, and the fine control that's easier to get with the mouse than the analog stick, that I really do prefer playing it. I don't know if PS4 does it differently, if it's got some kind of Grand Theft Auto style lock-on system when it comes to shooting the bolt caster. But it's much easier with the mouse and keyboard. So here we are, landed on Iwada. That was copper. We weren't going to bother with that. I think in the end I did need to get some for upgrade, which we may see in a bit. There's some interesting looking animals on the planet, nothing too special I don't think. Although we did see these kind of dogs with shoes on their heads.
Units received. Units received.
Albanu Nosavumus. There's a random sentinel just floating by, keeping an eye on things. So yeah, I do stop off when I see animals that I haven't scanned. I will stop off and scan them, just cause. But really, it's not the focus of what I'm doing. I like to explore places and waypoints. And although obviously that's quite an impressive beast, but on the whole, I'm not bothered about wandering around getting 100% completion on different animal species scanned. So this particular waypoint is a trade terminal. And again, it's the first one of these I've seen. Just a random trade terminal floating in the middle of nowhere. So we're going to sell some crap to it. That fascination bee can go. Surprised I didn't select the shielding shard. Oh well. That Gek charm, which I believe I'm going to sell straight back to it. Yeah, there we go. Still not selling the shielding shard. Obviously I have plans for that.
Protection falling.
So I think we're pretty much going to just grab some plutonium and on to the next one. Now this next waypoint wasn't actually showing up on the scanner. I just happened to notice it as I was flying over towards those green question marks over there. It's not especially notable. Is a plaque which is going to teach us a word. Herc returned to the Viking. Gra, they spake, atop the sacred mountain of Dunscareen, and proclaiming loudly to all who had gathered there, their leader said unto them, the great monolith has answered me. It has awoken. It has told of the coming of the travellers. They will be spared. The Viking shall honour this decree. Okay, I'm going to seek help with the language, and it's going to teach us. It's going to teach us entrance. So I'm just going to. I'm not going to grab that. That's iron. We're just going to head on to the next place. And again, one that doesn't seem to have been showing up on the scanner. This is just a random trailer. The Bazam Lowlands. So we're just going to grab this crap out of the boxes. So that's the Bazam Lowlands. And our inventory's full again. At least it's full of fairly valuable stock this time. Apart from those bloody shielding shards. Why am I still carrying those? Why don't I get rid of them? I don't know. So we've made a bit of space and we're instantly going to fill it up again.
Temperature levels stabilizing.
Loot these.
Inventory full.
No, I'm not going to. I'm actually going to send that back to the ship, not just discard it. That's a little bit of plutonium for us. And let's see what's inside. Oh, let's check these first. I think I've already looted those ones. Yeah, already looted those. Short burst adapter. Now this one I did actually go out and get the copper to build. This basically speeds up the rate of fire of the bolt caster, I think for a limited period. So I did want to try it, and I actually did like it in the end. But here I'm just going to go out and mine one of those great big copper, like floating copper things, to get the materials for it. So here I am back from mining out all the copper. I've got a full stack of it in my suit inventory. I've cut that out because I'm sure you all know what it looks like, mining stuff. Bit of inventory management, just to juggle some space around. And then we're going to install the short burst adapter.
Technology installed.
Could also install the wide shot adapter. Still not entirely sold on that. It basically turns the multi-tool bolt caster into a shotgun, as far as I can tell. I'm not sure if I'm going to test it out here or if I'm just going to take off and go somewhere else. Oh yeah, here we go. That's the short burst adapter in play. Yeah, turns it into a little laser machine gun. Rather nice. And I think that's all for this waypoint. So let's skip on ahead. I don't think there's much more for this session, but let's skip to the next waypoint. Yeah, to be honest, not much else to say for this episode. Here we are back on Rio Waka Waka Wak. I made a brief side trip to the space station to sell some stuff, and then I had a beacon pointing me back here. I thought it might be a new mission, but no, it turns out somehow I hadn't managed to register that I'd reached this destination. Apparently you have to, climbing this ramp doesn't count, you have to approach that central pillar at ground level. And I think that's pretty much us done with exploring this system as well. There only seem to be 4 planets and we've visited all of them. So all we're going to do now is head back on up to the ship, and we're going to go into the discoveries menu and just give everything a little bit of a name. So here we go, discoveries. We're going to make sure we've uploaded everything we found. Not going to bother with renaming waypoints or animals. And the name of the planet, because this is a very hot planet with a lot of gold around, I think we're going to name it New Mali. Mali, you may remember, at least if you've played Civilization, was an ancient African kingdom, very famous for being very rich and very powerful in its day, led most famously by Mansa Musa. That's where you may know him from. That's certainly where I know him from. So that planet is going to be New Mali.
Units received.
And Iweda Salte OL405 is pretty much a carbon copy, and another very hot place that's quite associated with gold is Egypt. So That could be New Egypt. And as for the name of the system, because I was thinking like something to do. It's got to be something to do with gold. I mean, 3 of the 4 planets are very gold rich. So I think the first choice was something like the Golden Star. Hold on, I'll type it in a minute. Oh yeah, the Golden Star, yeah. But that felt a bit generic. So because we've got 3 gold-rich planets in the system, we're calling it the Golden Triangle.
Units received.
And I'm just going to have a quick check through and make sure I've uploaded everything that we discovered on these planets. And that's it for this session. Didn't do anything beyond that. Next time around, we've got a hyperdrive all fueled and ready, and we're pretty much done with exploring this system, the Golden Triangle. So we'll be making our first big jump across the stars to the next system, and I think we're gonna have to decide whether we want to find was it Rada and Polo or Nada and Polo, something like that, or if we're going to follow the guidance of the Atlas. But anyway, that was episode 5, No Man's Sky. Hope you've enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if you'd like to see more gameplay of this game, and I will see you next time.